CBD coated tampons. Yes, they exist, but do people want to use them and do they even work? We've done the science on this, but it's a little bit sketchy. So let me explain what we know about whether CBD coated tampons can actually help relieve specific types of pain. So I stumbled into this rabbit hole because I was looking for research on lubricant using THC, and there was none. And then I came upon this study, and so I said, yeah, no, let's talk about this. So in terms of CBD tampons, apparently this is a thing that has been patented and it is currently out there that people can actually buy these tampons. So we're kind of in the midst of a CBD craze, and hopefully it's dying down at least a little bit, but we typically see that people are kind of obsessed with using CBD for everything. So there are CBD gummies for your pets. There's CBD lotion to try to relieve your anxiety. CBD for pain. Like, it's been suggested that CBD is basically used for everything. So if you're unfamiliar with what CBD is, it's cannabidiol. It is basically just one of the components of cannabis, and it's supposedly the one that helps most with the medicinal effects. But here's the thing, a lot of the things that they say CBD is supposed to be good for, yeah, there's not actually good science behind this. And so when I saw this specific report of like CBD tampons that will help specifically with like menstrual pain, I was a little bit skeptical. And so just know that I started this research a little bit with a skeptic's bias. So put that into perspective. But I started looking at the study, which by the way is a nice little single blind experiment in which they basically gave people tampons that had CBD or placebo tampons, and they basically had them track how much pain they were experiencing across 3 different menstrual cycles. So the study supposedly found that CBD tampons did actually seem to basically help women who experience pain during their menstrual cycles. But then when you looked into it a little bit more, yeah, that good experimental design that I was talking about, that's pretty much where the good news ended for the study. So yeah, they conducted this kind of beautiful experiment and then did all sorts of really sketchy things with their statistics. So they used like a bunch of t-tests. They didn't do the proper statistics. Instead of just looking at like overall pain, what they ended up doing is basically looking at like difference in pain over days. And here's what they found. They found that CBD tampons seem to help people on like 3 specific days across 3 months. So basically what it boils down to for people who do not care about the statistics involved here, it seems like they were just basically like throwing everything at a wall to see what sticks. And then like a couple of things stuck. And so they're like, yep, see, CBD is better. The shotgun approach where like, yeah, maybe one of those individual pellets will hit something. Yeah, that's what's happening here. So yeah, on 3 of the 90 days, it seems like CBD worked. Like they even do admit at one point that like statistically there's basically nothing here, but that does not seem to matter much. So here's the exact sentence that they say. There was no statistically significant difference observed. Nevertheless, the CBD infused tampon group had a visible advantage over the placebo group. What does that even mean? For those of you not in the field, this is what it means. Nothing. There was basically nothing that they found in their results, but they just kind of found a couple of things and said, yeah, look, CBD infused tampons are better. And I did what my skeptical scully brain likes to do, and I looked at the conflicts of interest section, in which it said that everyone who wrote this article was employed by a group or owned a patent by the group that actually sells the CBD-infused tampon. I had like a moment of hope there, and then it all just dissipated when I finished reading the study. So yeah, no, CBD-infused tampons probably don't do much of anything. A recent study by completely different people, by the way, said that like, oh yeah, maybe women are willing to try that. Like we have this group of people who have severe menstrual pain, and we asked them if they'd be willing to try things. And they found that a full 33% of women experiencing severe pain were open to considering being in a trial for something like a CBD tampon. Not even excited about it. Open to consider being in a trial. So y'all, if you were at the beginning of the study being like, what, why would you even make that? That's a great question because it doesn't seem to actually work that well, and it doesn't seem like anybody really wants to use it. But also, y'all, we need to remember that like there is a reason for these things to exist. There are a lot of people experiencing chronic pain, and there are a lot of women experiencing significant pain. And so we need to come up with better solutions for this. So at least people were trying, but yeah, not trying in a great science way.